everybody, I'm Allison. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're filming Flosstube number 22. If you're new here and you've just been watching tutorials, Flosstubes are about once a month. I go over all my crafts. I always start with cross stitch. I also have punch needle, rope bows, machine embroidery. I have lots of Kimberbell. I have cross stitch stuff from my mom, quilting. I share everything. I'll go ahead and put chapter markers below. It's the first time I'm going to try that with my Flosstubes. That way if you want to see something specific, you can look for that chapter marker. I do edit my videos. We've got a couple of dogs behind me and another one down the hall and the bird and about 50 animals here. I do have to stop for things, so if you see cuts in the videos, that's why. I do want to make two quick announcements before I start. I'm having a shop sale at my Etsy shop. I'll put that on the screen and link it in the description box below. I'm doing 25% off the entire shop. It's running through the month of June. I started at June 1st. I've only sold a couple things. If I get a good response, I'll go ahead and extend it. We're raising some money for a recent surgery on one of our animals. I'll talk about that in the animal update. The Etsy shop is a way that I can share my crafts and my cross stitch designs and help raise money for our Forever Home Animal Sanctuary. I also had an interview with Corey at Linda's Electric Quilts. I'll link that below for his podcast. He has the Crafters Roundtable podcast. I met him in February here at QuiltCon, and we started talking, and he asked if I wanted to interview for his podcast, so I did. It was fun. Again, I'll link that below. You can probably hear our canary, Zazu. He is down a hallway and up another hallway, but the microphone picks up everything. Let's talk about the quilts behind me. This is a little runner I made, let's see, 2021. It's one of the first things I made when I started quilting. I used the AccuQuilt dies to make this. Solid red and blue and white, and simple stitching along either side of the stitch line. It's a table runner. And the big finish is the Star Spangled Beauty ladder quilt. It goes way out of frame, so I'll put a nice big picture up so you can see the whole thing. And the ladder is made by my husband. He got unfinished wood from the hardware store, put it together, stained it for me, we let that dry, and then I was able to hang up my quilts. I've been doing a quilt along for this on my channel. There's pictures on here, one of our chickens here, and then one down there you can't see. This is a Kimberbell quilt. The backing, let me see if I can show you the backing fabric, it's just beautiful. It's what, like a cheater print? Love it. You can get this at quilt shops, they still have it. Let's start with cross stitch finishes. I'm going to, let's see, I have a few, and actually my mom has a few. I'll pop up my mom's really quick, that way I don't forget. So we'll start with mom today. Mom has 3 finishes and actually 4. I have one over here to show you. The first one I'll put up is Who's There? It's the Owls. This was by Satsuma Street. She stitched it on 16 count fiber on a whim pumpkin color. It's more orange than it shows on the screen. DMC is charted, and she said she bought the pattern a few years ago as a PDF. It took her about 50 hours to stitch. The frame was actually from me. That was a Goodwill find by my husband, and boy, does the color match that perfectly. It's a beautiful stitch, so I framed that for her, and she's got that back at her house. The next one is called Arranging Cacti. This was by Ink Circles. It's a 14 count sandstone tea dye Witchelt Premium Ada. She did a mix of called for and colors she had on hand. It only had 5 colors for this stitch. About 20 hours to complete, and the box came from Michael's. I went ahead and I stained that. It was a raw wood piece, and then I put her piece on sticky board and glued it inside the box. I do all her finishing for her since I have the glue gun and all the materials. The last one is Super Bloom Bouquet by Robin Pickens. This was a kit she purchased at QuiltCon. It's 94 by 121 stitches. It's on 14 count Ada, and everything was in the kit with this. DMC Charles Craft Natural, Dottie Thatched Fabric, which is a Robin Pickens motif fabric, and the frame she did find 11 by 14 from Amazon, and that took her 38 hours to stitch. I finished all of those for her, and I have another finish that I'll show later. I'm going to move on to my finishes. I've got 2 big finishes. I'm working on emptying my whip basket. I know a lot of people like to have a lot going on. I started to get overwhelmed, so I'm starting to focus and finish things one at a time. The first thing I have to share is Happy Camper. This is a Lori Holt It's So Emma pattern. You can get this one at Fat Quarter Shop. I'll come in close so you can see the stitches. I stitched this, I believe, on, I have to look. I didn't leave myself a note. I should have left myself a note. I think this is the 16 count natural Aida. I picked a smaller count because I had this frame, which was a Goodwill find by my husband, and it had this neat cutout here. And as soon as I saw this cutout, I thought, oh, I've got to do that happy camper for this because it's perfect. The chart has another row of flowers down there, but I eliminated that and I used a smaller count of Aida so it would fit inside this matting. It just fit perfectly. So there's Happy Camper. I was glad to get that one done. And if you've been watching for a while, this one's a long time coming. You may have already seen it on Instagram. I am on Instagram, MRS_AZFamilyZoo. I'll put it on the screen. I've been working on the Funky Chickens by Satsuma Street. I already filed the chart away. But the first one I did was the rooster. So here's the rooster. I finished the rooster in August last year, and then in December of last year I finished the first hen. These are on a 14 count fabric flare white something, can't remember, and these all have little sayings on the bottom too. So here's the rooster, here's the hen, and I finally just finished this past weekend hen number 3, the final hen in the collection. Trying to get it to focus on the hen. There we go. And there's the bottom of that one. If you stitch these, I have a video on my channel showing you how to assemble these. I assembled the rooster in the video as the first one I put together, and I do make a mistake, but I point it out to you so you don't do the same thing. I put the felt on incorrectly. I layered the bottom on the top and the top on the bottom. But there's a note about it in the video, and you can watch that and learn how to make the funky chickens. Here they are, all complete. I do have the next set of charts called Groovy Chicks, but it's going to be a while before I do that. I really want to finish what's in my basket and everything else I'm working on. I'm going to take a quick minute, since I'm having a shop sale. I want to show you some of my charts. I have a handful of them over here. They're small, they're easy to stitch, and they're very reasonably priced. If you're new here, I design cross stitch charts for my shop. We'll do this fast. Peace, Love, Rescue. This was one of my first ones. In fact, I think this was my first one. And then I have the, I forgot the name of it. I'll put the name on the screen. It's one of my squared charts. I have Happy Hedgyween. So Halloween, if you like Halloween. And then for this time of year, I've got 2 4th of July. Sweet Liberty squared. And if you like smalls, you can do each little square individually if you like, and make little pillows or make smalls or use them to make bags or decorate with. And then I have Happy 4th, which I think was my second chart, with the very tiny birds and the really big birdhouse. They are living it up. And I'm going to show you 2 from my bee series. I have the Wee Bee Stitching, which comes with and without the words, and the Quilting Bees. If you watch the Stitching Owl, she stitched one of my bees. If you don't watch it, you need to watch the Stitching Owl to see which one she stitched. And she does really good finishing. She does really cute ornament finishings. So thank you, Stitching Owl. And then I have what I think has been my best-selling chart. It's either this one or Happy Hedgyween. This is the Love to Stitch. And I do have it colored in Valentine's Day pinks and reds, but you can pick any color you want. You might notice the different finishings. I include finishing instructions with my charts, and they're all PDF download. And then I have 4 more I want to show really quick, and a thank you while I show this one. This is the Spring Seasons Squared, and I want to thank Stitching with My Littlie for stitching this. She's working on this, and she has a really cute design. It's like a polka dot fabric in the background. I will link their channel below. Make sure to check them out. They are mother and daughter cross stitch team. I have all 4 seasons, so there's spring and summer. And I put a note on this one, which was a good idea. Vintage cloth, 14 count breeze. And these are all DMC 2 strands on 14 count. This is fall. This is 14 count Witchell Natural. It has that brown fleck look to it. And the last one I want to show here is the winter season squared. This is pale misty blue fabric flare Ada. The reason I started the Etsy shop in 2019, I believe, is because people wanted to help with our animals, and we're not a nonprofit, not very comfortable taking donations. So I started with jewelry. There's jewelry in the shop, and then there's the home decor like the pot holders, and I have some other things I'll show. Again, everything is on sale right now, including project bags, so I will show some project bags later. We're going to dive into the whip basket. I did mention the stitching owl, to thank her for the bee stitch, and we are doing the ornament style, which leads me to my first work in progress. I'm stitching the sweetheart ornaments, and we're doing this all year long. I'll put the hashtag on the screen. I'm stitching these with the called for DMC on Shadow Lugana. This is my current I need to finish it stitch. I'm down to only 5 left. The first thing I decided to finish was Happy Camper, then Funky Chickens. Now I'm doing Sweetheart Ornaments, and then I'll show you what's next after that. I'll hold them up again really quick. I can't remember which ones I showed and didn't show. I think I've shown at least the first 3. These are all 30 by 30. Actually, I've shown those 4. Last time I was working on the truck, so the truck is finished. And then we have the mug. And I'm not really sure if it's a cupcake or ice cream or what. I'm not sure what that is. Cupcake? Ice cream? It just calls it a sweet in the charts. I have 5 left. These take 4 or 5 days to finish because I only stitch at night, and at night I have a routine for Jacqueline the dog. I'll put a picture up. She's very old. She's going blind. She's almost completely deaf. She has a bit of dementia, and most evenings revolve around her and taking care of her. So I haven't had a lot of time to stitch. This is one of my project bags. There are some in the shop like this, Valentine's themed. I'll show my project bags after I go through my whips, and then we'll do punch needle. I want to share what I will be working on next. As soon as those ornaments are done, I'm doing the Lizzie, Kate, Siri, Sal with 2 tall stitchers. I'll link them below. I'm working on the Halloween rules. Here's what the whole thing will look like when it's done. I have not made any progress because I've been working on other things, but I'll show you what I have in case you're new. I'm stitching on 16 count Vintage Country Mocha Ada. And that's all I've got. Once I'm done with the Valentine Sweetheart ornaments, this is going to be my focus piece. I hope to finish it before Halloween. We'll see. Again, I've been a little short on time for stitching. Now, there will be one interruption in July because I planned something for Christmas in July. It's in my project bag. There are some of these in the shop. Check out the shop sale. I don't think I've ever put my project bags on sale. They take a long time for me to make. They're quilted, lined, serged on the inside, and everything has a charm or a zipper pull or something on it. But coming in July, for Christmas in July, I need to take this out carefully so I don't accidentally show the chart. I always show the chart on this one and then I have to fix it. I'm going to stitch a Prairie Schooler Santa. Right there, that's the one I'm going to stitch. I probably won't finish it in July, but I'm going to start it in July and aim to get it finished by Christmas. That'll give me this to focus on, and then this if I ever want to take a break from working on that, but I really want to get this one done. I have some other things in the whip basket, but I'm going to leave them there. And I'll bring those out again when I'm done with one of these so you can see the next items I'll be working on. Let's go on to punch needle. The first punch needle I have to show, that I can't remember if I showed this one or not, but this came from the Bella box. That is by Kimberbell. They have a company called Me Time Delivered that has their subscription boxes. And this is the Sew SEW and Sew SO punch needle. It was in the box. One thing that's new, probably since last time I showed it, is I added the fabric frame. There's a video on my channel showing how to add the fabric frame using the free template that you can download from Kimberbell's website. This is in my sewing room. Then I have 4 patriotic punch needles. And I'll link everything below. I do have an affiliate code for Kimberbell, so if you use my links for Kimberbell, I do receive a very small commission, but thank you. These were the patriotic punch needle. These two come in the kit together. We've got the, look at the fluffiness on that. The pretty cupcake with the sparkles, the gems. There's the cupcake. And these all come in kits. The only thing you need are scissors and an iron to iron the fabric. They come with all the extra stuff and the buttons and even a needle and needle threader. The pinwheel. And these I finished just by lacing the back with some yarn. Really easy. These are rubber. They stretch over the other part of the frame. So this can be moved. If you have a punch needle that goes this way, it can be up here. And I have, I think it's called the patchwork flag. If it's not, I'm sorry, I'll put it on the screen, I'll fix it. I've got the nice flag. This is a great beginner kit. If you want something that's patriotic, not only for the 4th of July, you have Labor Day, Memorial Day, and frankly, all year round. This stripe, and this stripe are fabrics. So these get ironed down. This is a longer stitch. You just kind of go back and forth with your punch needle, and then some regular punch needle stitches. I have a video on my channel on how to do punch needle with the ladybug punch needle, and I go over the stitches. And they come like this too. This comes on this frame. Everything is stretched, it's ready to go. These you do stretch the canvas onto the frame, but it's not hard. And their newer kits have the pattern pre-printed, so you don't have to trace anymore. And I've got one more, which is probably my all-time favorite punch needle so far. This is called Americana Cowgirl. Isn't that cute? I love it. I could see doing this in lots of different colors. I actually have pink cowboy boots. You can always do these patterns again, and if they come pre-printed before you punch, you can put it on a copier and keep a copy of it so you can use it to trace. But it also comes with a piece of paper showing what stitches go where, and then you can use that as well. Just had a delivery, had to stop. We're also going to have another interruption for dog medication. I've got a couple of rope projects, and I have this fun little project. This says put a pin in it. The embroidery is from the Bella box. This was a bonus design, and the project is a pin cushion. But instead of making a pin cushion, I quilted it and put it in the embroidery frame, and you can use it for, this is a needle minder and pins. I have a how-to video on my channel. I'll link that below. It's in a wooden embroidery frame, and I go over how to finish it, how to fold everything in the back, how to add your palms. I have 2 rope bowls to show. The first one is the May Hoop Studio project. This is from Me Time Delivered. Again, that's their Kimberbell subscription box, and I have a tutorial on my channel start to finish how to make this project. This was a lot of fun. This is a square shape, so this was new for me, and it has this nice embroidery design on the bottom. Everything you need to make this comes in the Hoop Studio kit. So you get this fabric, the bead, the fabric that's on the bottom, the product that they use for the base. You just need to use your own thread, but the rope came with it too. Now I'll show you what I did with the extra rope. And I think this was all extra rope from Hoop Studio. If not, I had some project rope, but Kimberbell has their own project rope. Let me bring that up so you can see what it looks like. It's cotton on the outside, and I believe it's a polyester core on the inside. I took their rope and some teal color Rit dye, and I dyed the rope to get this color for this rope bowl. This embroidery design was from the Bella box. This was one of the bonus designs. It was for a folding storage tote, but I used it for the bottom of this rope bowl. I have 2 videos for this one. I did a short video showing just how to dye the rope, and if you like to dye your Aida fabric, it would be the same thing. You would just put fabric in instead of rope. Same process. It's a how to use Rit dye video. So I dyed the rope, and then I made the rope bowl, and in my video I show you how to size this and make the base, and then I show you how to build up the rope bowl and how to do the finishing with the bead. I've got lots of rope bowls now. They do make good gifts though. They're really easy to make. If you want to learn how to make a rope bowl, you can watch either one of these videos. I show you how to build up the sides and make the shape and make the rope bowl. I'll link those videos below. I have a couple more fun projects to share, and then I've got haul, Stitchy Kindness, and I'll show some things in the shop. All of these, the Kimberbell stuff, I have videos and tutorials on how to make it. June's Hoop Studio project are these 2 fun little things. This is a card holder, and this is a lip balm holder. And these are all made in the embroidery hoop. You do have a little bit of hand sewing and turning things right side out. The card holder has a magnetic clasp, magnetic snap, and there's 2 cards. I have one of my own cards in there. One of my little AZ Families Do Business cards. But there's 2 pouches in there to hold your cards. And this is the zipper, and you can put your lip balm in there. If you made this a little bit bigger, it could hold doggy poop bags for your dog walks. So I have a video how to use that. This is designed to go over the wrist. For me, it's way too big. I have really skinny wrists. But instead of this, you can use a hair scrunchie, you can use a bracelet. This is a really neat clip. You can clip everything to the inside of your purse or to your belt loop on your jeans, to your handbag, whatever. This was a really fun project. I actually made both of these in one day, and I was filming. So if you need something quick and easy, you have an embroidery machine, maybe you need a gift, great project, highly recommend. This is the Betsy Bag. This is a purse made in the hoop. A little bit of sewing involved with this. You get all the hardware, everything you need to make this comes in the kit. The same thing with these. You get the fabric and everything you need in the kit. And then once you have any of these type of things, you've got the design. So if you want to make it again and you want a different fabric, you can do that. This bag has a zipper, and it's fully lined on the inside. It was really interesting to see how this one went together. I do have a video putting this bag together, and this has that fabric that I really like. That was a lot of fun to make. And one more project I'm going to share. I bought the May Perfectly Pieced digital edition because I love birds. I wanted to make this with the birds. This is the 8-inch bird block, again made on the embroidery machine, and this is one of the projects that comes with it. I'm working on the 6-inch project and the 4-inch project. I'll get those on the channel as soon as I can. There's a lot going on right now. But I started with the 8-inch, so I have a tutorial on how to make this. You can look at all my birds. I use solids and print fabrics from my stash. The wing fabric is from a charm pack. It's just a random charm pack. I think I got it on Amazon. The solids are a mix of Kona and Bella. And the background is art gallery fabrics from a low volume Fat Quarter Club thing that I bought on sale. And then for the back, I just did an envelope back. This is again art gallery fabric. And the whole thing is quilted, and there's quilted borders. If you want to make one of these and you have an embroidery machine, the video's on my channel. Really cute. Love anything with birds on it. Let's look at some, it's a mix of haul and gifts and stitchy kindness. June is my birthday month and my husband's birthday month. We actually have our birthdays the same day. The day, not year. So we're celebrating our birthdays this month. I'm going to start with a couple of things my mom gave me. And she stitched this for me, and what's funny is I have this. We both have this chart. I gave her the fabric to stitch this. This is the same fabric I'm using for my Lizzie Kate. It's a really big piece of fabric. But she finished it. This is by Ink Circles. I'll find the name of the chart and I'll put it on the screen. With all the little turtle tortoises. There you go. I'll bring it up close though. I think she used the called for colors on this. I didn't make a note, but I'm pretty sure it's the called for DMC. Look at the little tiny one. And she looked for something to display. Couldn't really find anything in the craft store, so she went down to the attic. And she found these. There's 2 pieces in the package. And it opens like that. So you can take your piece and, you know, fold it over and stitch and then slide it on like that. So she stitched it for me and she gave me the finishing piece and I have to finish it, but then I can keep it. There's the information of the product if you need one of those wooden hangers. I have to put that together. Slide that over there. And she brought this on sale. Stitch Lovely Floral Sewing Machine Kit. She did the cross stitch part and gave the rest to me. I'll show you the cross stitch. I think everything came in the kit. It says Stitch Lovely. It's all stitched. I just need to make the sewing machine cover out of it. Or I need to frame it and hang it up, which is probably what's going to happen, even though I really need to make some sewing machine covers. But there's so much going on. I might frame it for now. You can always use, when I frame, I stretch around sticky board. But if you think you might want to do something with it later, instead of peeling and sticking the entire piece of sticky board, you can just stick it to the corners and then lace it or tie it around the back. Then you have the option to remove it from the frame later. Because this kit, I think you're going to hear some crinkling. It comes with, yeah, all the fabric is included. And there's instructions on how to make the cover. I don't want to turn it around. It's very specific and it gives all the measurements. But all the fabric is in here. I would just need to make the cover. So thank you, Mom, for that. I do think I will probably frame it and hang it up for now. I have some Stitchy Kindness from You Know Who You Are. Thank you. We've got Seasonal Courier Blue Jay Summer. This is Robin Pickens. There we go. Out of the plastic, it's easier to see. This is 66 by 95. There's the information on the back. It is charted in DMC. I do love anything, everything bird, and we'll have Bird Buddy at the end. I know everybody loves the Bird Buddy. Then we have Birds in Nature Sparrow by Erin Elizabeth Designs. Let me grab it out of the plastic here. A little bit of crinkling. Sorry about that. This is beautiful. Look at that. Even if you just stitch the bird, you could stitch the bird as a small, put on a little pillow. Really pretty. Very nice. I have to be careful. The chart is right behind it. 105 by 133. That's big for me. I know that's not big for some of you who stitch a lot more than I do, but that's big for me. I may just stitch the bird. And I was also gifted the Rose in Bloom quilting book. I'm a quilter. I've almost bought this book several times. I was very happy to get a copy of this book. Somebody had bought it twice, which I've done before too. I don't know if I'll make it anytime soon, but it's a very pretty quilt. Very excited to get this book. I do collect quilt books, and they're great when you need a project and you can just pull a quilt book off your shelf. And some Missouri Star little mini bolts. They're acrylic. You wrap your fabric yardage around them. So some of these I will definitely use. I've been keeping everything off to the side to make sure I didn't forget to show everything on Flosstube, and the piles kind of got out of hand. And some things I bought for myself. The Kimberbell Berry Sweet mug rugs. There we go, a little bit of glare. I'm in front of a window. I will be filming this when I make these and I'll put it on my channel. I hope to do it soon, but wow, do I have a long list of things to share. I have some things that are going to be provided by Kimberbell as part of the affiliate program, and then I have things that I bought, like this. And that Quarter Shop had this on one of their flash sales. This is the fabric kit. Oh, dog medicine break, be right back. And we're back. Libby has to have medication 3 times a day. She's on multiple medications for her epilepsy, and it was pill time. Where was I? Here, fabric kit. Quilty Little Christmas. This was released a year ago, I think, by Kimberbell. And it's the fabric, this is fabric only to complete these projects. And I'm working with my representative at Kimberbell to get the embroidery files for these. Thank you. And hopefully an embellishment kit. I'm going to put this on my channel. I'm aiming for Christmas in July. So if you have a Quilty Little Christmas and want to make these projects, watch for this on my channel. This is a really nice fabric kit. One thing about fabric kits, when you see them go on sale, here's my billing information. Even if you're not going to make the particular project, like this is specific for this project, but look at all the fabric in here. This is great Christmas fabric, holiday fabric. You can use quilt kit fabric for whatever you want to make. You don't necessarily have to make that project. These are great fabrics. This is going to be a lot of fun to make. Watch for this on my channel. Now I have to change the battery in the camera because the battery's about to go dead. One thing I did not show this time, and I made a note, is I'm working on the spring showers quilt, which I started I think 2 or 3 years ago at this point. The embroidery quilts with like the beehive and the umbrellas and the frogs and everything. I'm doing that on a smaller embroidery machine, and the USB port is broken, so that machine's in the shop. I have a bigger machine now that I use for the tutorials, and I'll run them both at the same time so I can get more than one thing done. So for right now, spring showers is on hold. Hopefully I'll have that machine back in a few weeks. Let's do a quick, I'll just hold them up kind of in sets, a quick show of what's in the shop as far as project bags go and some other products, and then we'll do an animal update, and I'll do some closing with the Bird Buddy and have some Bird Buddy pictures. I know everybody likes the Bird Buddy. And if you see something you like, grab it, because I just checked my phone. Somebody just bought something. Thank you. And I don't know what they bought, if they bought a bag or a chart or what. I didn't look that close. I have these. I showed you one of these earlier with my Prairie Schooler Santa. There's a couple of different varieties. If you like these, the top is different and the backs are different, and all of the little charms are a little bit different. These are on sale. These are quilted, lined, and then I serge the inside seam, and there's a tag on the inside. It's a vinyl coated fabric tag, and I put it in a loop. So if you do your floss on a ring, you can clip the ring on this. There's some Christmas bags. There are some Woodland Friend bags. They look like this. I'm just going to hold up one. There's a variety of these. Look at the top strip, and the strips on the inside are different. They all have the candy cane on the back. Take a look at those. And let's see, over here we've got, I have 2 left of the Lori Holt stitch line. Patchwork bags. This is mercantile fabric on the back. The zipper colors on these are different. Make sure you check out the zipper color. I have 1. This is the last one of these. If you go to look for it, it's not there. That means somebody beat you to it. This is made with afternoon tea fabrics. It's the front and the back, and this has this lovely charm pull that I made with the little, let me turn them around. They always go backwards when I try to show them, with the little teacups. It's not focusing, sorry, but there's teacups and a teapot. There's pictures in the Etsy shop. There's one of these. I have 2 chicken bags left. 2 chicken bags. They've got the nice chicken print on the back. And these also have a fancy zipper pull. I have them tucked in. You can use this as a scissor fob, whatever you like. It's made with different gemstones, painted porcelain beads. It's got a rooster, a pig, and a cow on it. So it's got some farm animals on it. And I make these myself. Those are in the shop. There's 2 of those left. And I've got, this is going to be fun to put all this stuff away. This is crazy. I have 3 of these left. And these have a really fun, it's candy jade zipper pull with a heart charm. This is the Sincerely Yours fabric line. There's this one, and they all have a different color on the back. And this one, and this one. So check the fronts and then check the back because they have different colors. And I have 3 vinyl bags. 1, 2, and 3. And these have some fun prints on the back. Go to the shop, look at the colors. Those are the project bags. There are some other things on sale. Everything in the shop is on sale. I have a couple of these makeup bags left. Just looks like just 2. And there's Christmas placemats. There's a Halloween, it's either a quilt or a runner. It's folded up in here. I'm not going to unfold it. One of them sold, one of them was left. Please check it out. Again, all funds go to the animals. And then I also have patriotic pot holders. These come in sets of 2. So there's different front and back. Quilted, and they have Insole Bright and 100% cotton batting in them, and a loop for hanging. If you need them for decoration, you can use them for decoration. That's what I do with a lot of them. Sheep. These are my favorite with the sheep. Again, in sets of 2. Check it out. Flags. And these fun little, I don't know what they are. They kind of look like stamps almost. Just little patchwork prints. Lots of fun. There, blue on one side, red on the other. Please check that out. And we will move into the animal updates. If you've hung in this far, thank you so much. I know that's a lot. I need to try and get these a little closer together. I think I went 5 or 6 weeks, so I had a ton of stuff to share. I hope you enjoyed seeing it. Let's do animal updates. I'm actually going to show a vet bill, which I never do because, you know, it is what it is. There are animals. We take care of them. But this one I wanted to share, and I've got to fold it because it's got personal credit card information. Now this does have a prescription on it for Rosie, but this segment is about Mikey the sulcata tortoise. Here's our, and to let you know, this was discounted. Our vet took off, for the surgery, he took off $126. So our vet did discount it a little bit. Let's find the total. Here's the total. I have no idea if that's focusing. $1,414. So what happened with Mikey? Mikey will be, I'll put Mikey up on the screen. Mikey had been having digestive issues, and he's had them before, and all of our sulcata tortoises from time to time, they have a bad habit of eating rocks, picking things up off the ground, eating things they shouldn't. It's just kind of what they do. It's a tortoise thing. Even though we clean as many of the rocks as we can off the ground, sometimes they eat them and then they get a little bit backed up. Normally a little bit of medication and vibration treatment, which is using like a back massager on the underside, or putting them in a tote and driving them around so they get a little bit of movement. Sort of shakes everything loose, and within a day or so they can go to the bathroom and they're fine. Mikey was not getting better. We were taking him for weekly injections at the vet, and those were about $200 a pop. So after a month of doing that and making sure he was hydrated and doing the treatments and all the medication, we had to make a decision. So we talked to our vet. Surgery on a tortoise is very risky, but we were at the point where he wasn't eating, he wasn't his normal self. We could tell he wasn't feeling well, he was getting worse, and he wouldn't get better with what we had been trying. So since he was fairly large, we went ahead and opted to do the surgery. The vet started the surgery, and he did what he called a portal window on the underside of the shell, and he had a little scope, and he went in and looked, expecting to sort of get a layout and to plan the surgery and figure out how to extract the rocks with the least amount of invasive procedure. What he found was Mikey basically was doomed from birth, which is horrible and so unfortunate. He had a portion of the umbilicus, so think of an umbilical cord, and this is something that should have fallen off after hatching, but it didn't. It was still internalized, and it was there, and it was fused to the shell, causing some of his other organs to be fused to the shell and twisted and in a big giant mess. At one point, the vet could tell at one point Mikey's bladder had ruptured and had scarred over, and the scar tissue caused a lot of adhesions. His liver, bladder, intestines, everything was twisted and rotated. So it wasn't even necessarily a gravel blockage. You know, that the starting point was that diagnosis, because you get them an x-ray and the only thing you can see is light or dark on the x-ray. You couldn't see all of these things, and since this had happened before, it seemed logical to start with the medication and the usual steps. But it turns out that really wasn't the problem. All of these internal issues cause pain. Part of the way they deal with the pain is they end up eating rocks and gravel. So that compounded the problem, but it wasn't the problem. The problem was everything that had gone wrong inside. His intestines were now necrotic, and with the bladder fused to the shell and everything all twisted, everything was starting to shut down. He was not going to get better. He was about 10 years old. We had him for the last 8 years of his life. He essentially had these problems lifelong, would not have lived longer no matter what. He was to the point where there was nothing that could be done for him. It was either improper breeding, incubation, improper care at afterbirth. Small chance it could have been genetic. So we unfortunately had to say goodbye to Mikey. But what his surgery taught us was we took in 5 tortoises from a family about 8 years ago, and Mikey is the 3rd tortoise to pass away from this problem. And the first 2 were small, and they didn't grow quite as big as the others. We noticed they weren't growing as large, and we did the x-rays, and they passed away quickly from what we thought was a blockage. They weren't responding to anything, and they passed away. But having done the surgery and knowing that 3 out of 5 from this group have this problem, it's got to be either genetic or improper care. And it's very unfortunate, and this is why we do not breed. We're against breeding. There's just too many animals out there and too many problems. So we did have to say goodbye to Mikey. We did a private cremation. We just got his ashes back. We're going to sprinkle them under his favorite bush in his enclosure and have a little service for him. We usually put out flowers. And we're keeping a close eye on the remaining 2 tortoises that were part of this group of 5. We're hoping, probably hoping against hope at this point, that they do not end up having these issues. The fact that 3 of the 5 had these issues is very discouraging. And we're very sad to have to say goodbye to Mikey. And even though the surgery was quite costly, we're very glad we had that done because it gave us answers. And as sad as it is to say goodbye, it's partly a relief to know that there was nothing else we could have done for him. And we gave him the best life we think he could have had. He had his own private enclosure, he had a really nice space, and we hope he was very happy with us. I'm going to talk about the Bird Buddy. You're going to see some pictures pop up. The Bird Buddy saga continues. If you've been watching, you know that we've had problems with the big birds at the Bird Buddy. The doves come and they eat everything. They clear out the bird seed in a couple of hours, then there's nothing left for anybody, and they bully the other birds, and nobody else can get any bird seed. So we've been trying to figure out a way to keep the doves out, but let the smaller birds in. We tried some archways and they're like little walls on the side of the bird buddy, and none of that seemed to help. So we were trying to figure out how to enclose the bird buddy, maybe in a cage, and I found this wire basket online, and it happened to have a hole in the bottom. We were able to suspend it upside down over the bird buddy, and you can see in the picture that when it's hanging upside down, the handle sort of hangs down. It's like a swing, and we put that in front, and it's been phenomenal. All the little birds can land on it and pop inside and get their bird seed. There'll be pictures coming up so you can see the variety of birds that we get. And we still get the occasional dove, but they're small doves, and the bird seed lasts 2 to 3 days in the feeder. So we're not going through all this bird seed, which gets to be really expensive. And then you end up with a bunch of doves, and they kind of poop everywhere and make a big mess. So we are really glad to have resolved that with the bird buddy. If you've watched this far, thank you again. A reminder, everything is on sale in the shop, 25% off. And since I intended to post this video about 2 weeks ago, I'll probably at least extend the sale through mid-July. I have to wait for it to expire in Etsy, and then I can start it again. If you're an embroiderer, watch for this coming on my channel, Christmas in July. Quilty little Christmas. There's lots of fun projects, and I have several things planned for July for Kimberbell and for tutorials. If there's anything in particular you want to see, leave it in the comments below. I do have a requested project coming in July. You know who you are if you're watching. Thank you for the idea. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed catching up with me and my funky chickens. If you haven't watched the reel on Instagram, it cracked me up. I don't know if anybody else thought it was funny, but I put a really fun song with the chickens, and it's pretty much how I feel about finishing the chickens. So give that a watch on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing all my crafts. Again, if you have any requests, please leave them in the description box below. The chickens and I say thank you again. Please like, subscribe, and share. I do appreciate it. If you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments. I read all the comments and I respond to everything. Thank you so much. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.